Giving a presentation can be daunting, right? And both for you as the presenter, but also for the audience. And in a professional setting, in a professional presentation, so much can go wrong. I mean, there are real-life consequences to a bad presentation. Some of us here, if we give a bad presentation, we're going to lose sales. We're going to lose clients. We're going to lose money. For other people, it's a chance to embarrass yourself in front of your employees, in front of your bosses, or even worse, in front of the public. So imagine this. A year from now, you're at an HR conference. You have been asked to speak for half an hour. It is your time to shine. You go on that stage. In front of you, 1,000 people, 2,000 eyes locked on you. Take a deep breath, and you begin to speak. And you speak, and you speak, and you speak. And after 5 minutes, you look at your audience, and they're just like this. Now that is the nightmare of any presenter, because that will ruin your image for quite a long time. And whatever goal you had with that presentation, you can forget it. You will remember that day for years to come. Your audience won't. They will have forgotten as soon as the next speaker is up on stage. But that's not going to happen to you, because Eduardo and I, we're going to give you some tips and tricks that you can use to avoid that situation so that that does not happen to you. And let me tell you the one big secret. The quality of a presentation does not depend on the design of PowerPoint slides. The quality of a presentation doesn't even depend on the information that you're giving. The quality of a presentation isn't even defined by the topic you're speaking about. The quality of a presentation is defined by how well it addresses your audience's needs. By how well it addresses your audience's needs. This here is the Mutt. I bought this a couple of weeks ago. I assume everyone here is familiar with it. Who takes the public transport regularly in Berlin? Yeah, so there's a 99% chance you will have heard several pitches for the Mutts before. And they usually go something like this. Someone comes into the train. Day after day, they go from train to train. They come in and say, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry to disturb your day. I am homeless. I don't have a shelter. I don't have warm food. I'm trying to sell this Mutts to make an honest living. Could you please buy one? It's just €1.20. A part of that will go to the writers. A part of that will go to me. I'd be very thankful if you bought one. Thank you and have a nice day." Now, as heartless as it sounds, that's not very compelling. As heartless as it sounds, that does not in any way address me or my needs. All they're giving me is just a list of information about them. And, you know, you listen to it for the first couple of times, but it gets really, really boring latest after the 10th. So, not this guy. The guy who sold me this, he did something different. When he came into that train, he didn't give that normal pitch. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to disturb your day, but I have news for you. I am selling the Mutts, the homeless newspaper. And in today's edition, there's an article about bullying in the workplace. The article talks about how to identify abusive behavior in the work environment and how you can help the victims of it." Bam. I immediately bought my copy, and so did 4 other people. Why? Because bullying is a topic that I identify with. Bullying is a topic that I've been dealing with for quite a while, both in my private life and professionally. That was a good pitch. He did not talk about why he needs to sell this. He talked about why I need to buy it for myself. You are not here for my entertainment, for my joy. You're not here so I get to say what I have to say and then go home and feel all smug about it. No, you're here because you want to learn something. You're here because you want to take away something. And a presentation is always about the audience. My sole purpose of existence for these 20 minutes is to give you value. The question is, what do people want to hear? What is it that they want you to speak about? And there are generally two questions each presentation should answer. These are the most important questions when creating a presentation. Your audience will ask itself, why should I care? And what can I gain from this? These are the two essential parts of every presentation. Why should I care? If you don't have an answer to this question, you need a different presentation topic. The good news is there is always an answer. So when I go into schools to teach presentations, the kids challenge me on that, because they think all those boring topics that they speak about in school, no one really cares about them. So they shout out topics like Industrial Revolution or penguins or X-rays. And each and every time I've been able to give them a reason to care. There's no topic where you can't find the answer to this question. So what exactly is it that people do care about? There are generally 6 things that we all want, that we all love, that we desire. Money, health, time, liberty, social acceptance, and happiness. Money, obvious. Everyone wants more money. Everyone wants more on their bank account. Health, well, we want to live as long as possible and enjoy the time in between. Time, self-explanatory. Everyone's trying to save it. Liberty, we want the freedom to make our own choices. We want to go to the supermarket and have 30 different kinds of cereal, but we also want to have the freedom of going on holiday whenever we want, to be with our loved ones. That brings us to social acceptance. We are social animals. At the end of the day, we want to save ourselves from embarrassment. We want to be liked. We want to be appreciated. We hate being alone. And happiness is referred to having any of these. Sometimes we just want to have fun. We play games because we hope that we can have a bit of enjoyment. And that's what happiness is about. So when you ask this question, why should I care? The answer to that is usually that one of those 6 things is in danger. That the people you're speaking to either lack them or are running the danger of losing them. To give you an example, if I told you each hour you spend overtime working in the office is going to reduce your lifespan by 1 day. It's not true, but it does address the time and the health. That would be a way to open a presentation about stress relief. So the second question, what can I gain from this? A lot of people ask me, well, isn't that the same thing as why should I care? Why should my audience care? Surely that's what they can gain from this. And that's not quite the case. This question here, the answer to this is a set of tools. So if we talk about this presentation here, why you should care is because, well, as I said, various bad outcomes can, follow a really bad presentation. But that's not what you can gain from this. What you can gain from the presentation is something different. What you can gain is a set of tools you then use outside to make sure that you don't lose your social status. You don't lose the money, that you don't lose the time. So by asking these questions and the things I'm teaching you, those are the things you can gain. So it's really about what we give the audience that they can apply immediately. Because I realize that by listening to what I've just said, when you walk out and give a presentation right now, it's not going to help you much. You're not going to all of a sudden be a better presenter, a better public speaker, just because you've listened to what I've said. It's the implementation that's the answer to this question. So to empower the audience to be the heroes in their own stories. What some of you may have noticed is that when answering this question, it kind of depends who you're speaking to. So if you have a very specialized audience, then you know what their needs and desires and motivations and fears, etc. are. When you have a wide public audience, you need to be a lot more general with your address to these 6 values and these 6 things that we seek after. what do you think is the easiest way of finding out what your audience wants? And I'll give you a hint, it starts with A.
Just ask.
Ask. Exactly. That's why most of you will have received a message from me 2 weeks ago asking you, what do you expect from this presentation? Because that's the easiest way I can deliver the value to you, but just asking you, what value are you looking for? What I've given you here isn't the full formula to creating a presentation, obviously. So it takes a lot more than just answering these 2 questions. And having these answers is still a far step away from creating the presentation to then answer them. This is the what should go in it, and not the how should I put this in. And that we could speak about for an entire day. We could do a full day or 2-day seminar on this topic. But what I want to leave you with, and what the purpose of this presentation is to make you realize that if you want to be heard, it's important that others want to listen.